Video.
Um, you can click on it, and hopefully you can make it say, "Oh, not you can't." Oh, actually, up top,
You turn camera off.
icon. Yeah, turn that off.
Don't click the link.
Just click the turn camera off. Woo! Pew! Pew!
Don't click the
Pew!
Did you figure that one out?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Irongeek Cast number 31. No topic, except for we do have a few topics in here. Thanks to Charles. I'll go over my normal announcements of cons I have upcoming. DerbyCon, September 20th through the 24th this year in Louisville, Kentucky. SkyDogCon I'll be attending October 20th through the 22nd. GearCon, October 26th through the 27th. And HackerCon in November 17th and 19th. Through the 19th. And B-Sides Philadelphia rounds out my year on December 8th. And Charles has a few things for us in the show notes. First up, developers and security, a love-hate relationship.
All right. Well, once again, thanks guys for having me. Reason I had a couple of run-ins this week that I wanted to talk about. First, on the developer side of the house, I'm just to the point now that I just believe that developers and security should go hand in hand. We need to stop separating. We need to stop keeping developers as a separate entity away from security. And it seems like a lot of places where they just want to crank out the software as fast as they can, as Jack stated earlier, and don't care anything about security. But honestly, as a whole, that mentality is hurting us. And now just trying to figure out a way of how to get developers to change their mindset and change the way that they look at things from not only just a development standpoint, but from a security standpoint. Pretty much want to mesh security and development into one, as opposed to making it a separate entity. That's been my struggle and dilemma this week. And what brought that on was I was talking with an actual customer, and they were looking for support for Postgres in a specific product. And when I went back to the developer stated like, well, we have no plans in a roadmap to even support this. And I'm just like, okay, but you do know there's other databases besides Oracle and Microsoft SQL, and people do use Postgres, they use MySQL, they use MongoDB. These are things that we should start supporting in future releases, but obviously that wasn't important. And then when I talk about the security aspect of, trying to cut, maybe some people are trying to cut back more so on like SQL injection attacks by migrating NoSQL. Not saying that it will solve their database security problems, but probably just cut back on it because it's not really much information that I've seen so far on NoSQL injections. So this what kind of brought about this talk. I mean, what do you think, and just hop in here, guys, with your opinions, but, how can we even begin to even get developers to change this mindset? Is it training? Is it just having discussions? What you guys think?
Well, there's one life cycle model called waterfall that implements security and testing at every step.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think the major thing is, though, when people are developing apps, they're more, how can I make it work? And when people are, security testing, it's more, how can I break it and make it do what I don't want it to do? Like, I think it's kind of a different mindset when you're creating the app and then when you're testing it for security. And then I see it all the time where I work, where the developers develop the app and then do QA testing, quote unquote, and it doesn't work. And they're like, well, if you clicked on the things like you were supposed to, I'm like, well, that's why you shouldn't test the app. A user needs to test the app. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the user's going to go, oh, I think I should click here after I click on this. And if the developer left that button there and it crashes the app or does something else, then You know, the developers are like, oh, you're not supposed to click on that. They just won't even pay attention it's there. But
You know,
stuff where, you know, oh, my app needs to have database admin, or, you know, it needs to run as a freaking administrator on the box. You know, that crap needs to, you need to nix that real quick.
yeah, it's a nightmare, and it's just like, I don't know. I'm very passionate about security. I'm very passionate about you know, trying to make changes in the right way. And sometimes it does become frustrating, especially like developers. I get frustrated very easily because they get to the point where it's like they just don't give a damn. And it's just like, you know, you do know there's other people waiting to take your spots and would actually do what you won't do. And, you know, just sometimes it just gets a little bit frustrating when it comes to, you know, dealing with developers and security altogether.
I'll do anything you want me to do, baby.
Okay.
If you pay me.
Hey, you know, I mean, I'm just speaking facts. I mean, we've all been granted with gifts to do things that we enjoy. So why not, you know, instead of like bickering and instead of just saying, well, security is not my job, how about trying to improve and learn something new and try to really, you know, if you're really into if you say that you're into something, just be in it and stop BSing. That's been pretty much my week when it's been, you know, when dealing with the developers on this side of the house.
I think a lot of developers aren't actually interested in technology or anything like that, and either that or people just don't take pride in their work anymore.
No, they don't, man.
If I developed something and they found a security flaw in it, I'd be pissed off at myself, you know, for programming crappily.
It's just, you know, it's just one of those things. Like, dude, fix it. Stop being sloppy. That's why I can't stand going to that's like going to somebody's home network and you look at your network closet and there's a bunch of spaghetti all over the damn place. Fix your shit. You should not. You get paid a lot of money not to be lazy like that. Right? I just think that's utterly disgusting. Sorry, I just had a moment. I ran into a network administrator. You know, I've seen some closets that they take pride in how their cabling is done. And I've been to some, I've been like, oh my God, what is this? And I kid you not, at one place I went to, I swear to God, I thought the whole bunches of strings looked like Cousin It from Addams Family. That's how big a pile it was. If you looked at the corny eyes, you thought it was Cousin It. Ridiculous.
Yeah, when in a corporate setting, though, usually that happens because somebody throws a cable up and is like, oh, well, I just need it for a minute, and I'll take care of it later, and then later never happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it just keeps happening over and over again. Like, because the last building I was in before we moved, it was pretty bad because the previous IT guy was just like, oh, just throw a cable up. I just need it for a minute. And, you know, 10 years later, he's got 500,000 cables back there, and oh, we can't come down for any moment of time because, you know, got to have 100% uptime.
Huh. Oh my God. Yeah. So.
But, you know, we kind of fixed that.
I mean, you know, pretty much. That's all really I have to say about developers and security and their love-hate relationship. They love to hate security. That's just my final conclusion with developers.
Oh yeah, because it makes it hard.
Security. Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah. It's like changing a baby's diaper sometimes. Babies do not like to have their diaper changed, and they will kick, scream, and do whatever they have to do to keep you from putting that new diaper on.
You had your little one, huh?
Yeah, I'm learning. Whoa.
Is it a boy or girl?
Girl.
Yeah, how old is she now?
3 weeks. She's 3 weeks old today.
Okay.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, I got a 3-month-old and a 2-year-old. So.
Nice.
Welcome to the club.
Ooh, you feel the pain.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It gets worse.
Oh yeah, I believe it. Oh my goodness. Now, I definitely want to go to the next topic, Adrian, and this has been it's been a burning needle since Monday into my side, and I just got to get it off my chest. Penetration testers and puppy mills, and whew, that felt so good.
Did you say puppy mills?
Puppy mills, and I'll tell you why. And earlier today, right? Earlier today, and this is what really drove it home, and it made me laugh, but I feel the person's pain. And I forgot the person's on Twitter. I was scrolling down, and this dude said, if you're a penetration tester and you can't explain to me how DLL injection works, then you need to go back to the puppy mill that you came from. I said, somebody was in my brain, but said it a different way. Finally. And all I'm saying is to all you anybody that's trying to get into penetration testing, let me tell you something, because it seems like when you talk to people nowadays, they're either ethical hackers and all this other blah, blah, ABC, alphabetical BS. And if you really want to be a real penetration tester, hacker, whatever you want to call yourself, really learn the technology. Stop this tool haven bullshit. And what I mean by that is like everything, okay, yeah, I'm a penetration tester. Okay, so
I'm a penetration tester. I use Burp Suite.
Oh my God. It's just like, yeah, okay, so your penetration tester use Burp Suite. Okay, great. Do you understand the structure of the HTTP protocol? Do you understand how packets are structured? Do you understand how attacks work? Not just pressing the button to run the attack. Do you even understand how the attack works? Do you really understand what cross-site scripting is?
That's across the board, though, for like all IT infrastructure and stuff. Like
my point exactly.
All of it, because you got network administrators that like, what is the data that Microsoft sends for a ping? What is in a ping command? What is in a ping packet? What data is sent?
Right. Yeah.
Anybody know? I know what it sends. It sends the alphabet, A through Z. When you ping from a Microsoft computer, it sends the alphabet. Like, nobody looks at this stuff. Nobody's like, oh, what is it sending? What is this ICMP packet? How does it work? What is it doing? What am I telling this other computer? You're just sending it gibberish, basically.
Right, but that's my whole point. What brought this on is, okay, I'll tell you the story. I ran into, we had a job to do, and there were some new guys that came aboard, and they were, labeled as penetration testers. So I was like, okay, cool. We had an engagement to do, and these guys pretty much damn near checked out because they didn't know how to, their tools wasn't functioning properly according to them. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Well, Metasploit didn't have an exploit that they were looking for in their exploit database. One told me. I was like, okay, why is this even an issue? Like,
then you program yourself your whatever you need.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just like, and I was talking to him because one piece, myself and this other guy, we had to do, we wanted to do a full penetration test on not only the web servers but also their websites themselves. See if we can get shell and root on the sites or web servers. So this one dude they're asking, so what tool do you use to get shell? What tool do you use to get a shell? And I'm just like, huh? What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean tool? Like, I don't get what you're saying. He said, tool. What tool do you use? I'm like, if I'm testing web applications, I'm using Vert. But if I'm testing out, if we're doing it on like some type of red team exercise, then it's a combination of everything. From NetGo to Dirtbuster, Derp. I mean, there's different tools out there. I don't know what you're looking for, And then at the same time, I'm sending raw.
That's not what they taught me in pen testing 301. They told me to always use Metasploit and the autopwn feature.
You know what? And damn it, you're fired. But but honestly, man, it seems like it's an ongoing trend. And you see people, you meet people like, yeah, I'm penetration tester, but it's like, okay.
So
don't get me wrong. I'm pretty decent penetration tester, and trust, I have a lot to learn. I've learned a good amount, but I'm willing to learn more. I'm willing to learn it the correct way, not have shit handed to me and don't tell me the tool to use. Like, I really want to understand how certain things work, you know. Even with wireless, one of my good friends, Zero Chaos, I mean, he really helped me become very proficient with wireless. And it's not all about 802.11. You know, there's understanding signals and understanding how signals work and how radio waves work and wavelengths.
Yeah, because can't you like triangulate where the laptop is based on the signal strength and some other crazy crap?
A lot of shit you can do.
Like apparently there's some malware. There's some malware where they can get the PIN code you used on your phone based off the orientation and the Wi-Fi signal coming off it or something. I don't know, some crazy crap that I don't understand, but some crazy wave theory physics.
Yes, it's possible.
Yeah, and it's just like I said, it's just one of those things. Like, when really looking into wireless and really trying to understand wireless, it was not just understanding the 802.11 protocol, also understanding how radios work, how signal works, how does a beacon get from
but that's getting into like physics level stuff though. Like, you kind of really got to understand like wavelengths and frequencies and what it does when what certain wavelengths does it when it bounces off a wall. Does it spiral back? Does it scatter?
Yeah.
Depends on the material it's hitting. You know, like you're getting into some PhD level physics right there.
but even so, man, I think it's important.
But I mean,
when you're dealing with any type of, like, if you're dealing with wireless, not
I mean, the basics aren't that hard to understand, but when you get into the crazy stuff.
But that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna, and that's my whole point. Is just like, if you're really gonna learn something, if you really want to understand something, get into all of it, not just a small piece.
Oh yeah, like getting into. I've been looking more into like how hardware works and stuff, integrated circuits and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And trying to learn how that works so I can understand better what happens when when I run this script, what actually happens. Like what? Oh, okay, this little piece of electricity moves from here to here to here to here.
Yeah. And it's just it's just one of those things that's just been kind of frustrating so far this week. It's just running into people who are posing as pen testers and security people and don't understand the basics. And that's something that...
But I see it all the time. I see it even with the developers, like they've either been developing for a long time and they don't have the passion to keep up with the industry and what's current, or they just don't care. They just want to be able to know enough to get through their 8-hour day and go home and drink a bunch of beer and watch football.
Oh, and don't forget, they're just there for a paycheck.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're just doing the bare minimum, like.
Which is sad. It is very sad.
And my favorite's when they jack something up and they go, "Well, it worked last week."
What it was.
And then it turns out that nobody even tested it last week.
You had me at drinking.
And the systems guys must have jacked something up.
Or it's your fault. It's your fault.
Yeah, it's the network. No, it's not.
Everybody's fault except your own.
You wrote the damn thing. The network's working fine.
It's always somebody else's issue except their own.
Well,
right?
why can't the network be as fast as my computer? I click it and it works, but yet I put it on the server and it's shit.
Crank up the internet, press here.
Or we wrote this app, but we need 500 gigs of RAM. Why? Well, because I'm not doing any freaking memory clearing or freaking trash dump or whatever the heck they call it. I can't remember what it's called right now. But
Here's a question.
Garbage collection.
Here's a question. And speaking of apps, just to derail a little bit, what do you think about the mobile app industry? What do you think is going now? Because it seems like a lot of apps, apps out there that do the same thing.
I'm not sure if anybody's like even poking around at a lot of these apps.
Oh, they are. Oh, believe you me, they
yeah.
are.
Well,
But I
but
mean, it's not as many people that's doing it though.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of stuff coming out about this app's crap or this, but there's freaking bajillion apps out there. But you've got a baby now, Charles. Did you buy anything to like monitor your child's health while you're asleep?
Yeah, I got the wireless baby monitor.
The Owlet?
Yes.
Did you buy the Owlet thing, the little sock that goes on the foot and monitors the heart rate and respiration?
No, I didn't buy that. I didn't buy that yet. It's coming though.
So I got one of those, right?
Is it?
With the first kid, it works fine. But I got one for the first kid, right? Well, I was tinkering around this week, messing around with Nmap, on my home network, and playing with OS detection and seeing if I could find some, fingerprint some of the new OSs I had stood up. And I came across this strange one. I was like, "What the hell is this thing?" And so I go to the IP address, just stick it in the browser and go to the IP address, and because I had port 80 and 443 or port 80 open, so I'm like, okay, well it must be running a web app. So I go to port it, go to a browser, throw in the IP address. It's the Owlet. Absolutely no authentication whatsoever. Dumps me into the wireless network menu, and I can disconnect it from Wi-Fi. I'm like, I haven't had a chance to mess with it anymore, but I kind of, so I Googled it, like Owlet security issues, and some other researcher in the UK was messing around with it and found it and contacted them. I don't know if they fixed it or not, but according to them, there's no way to push firmware updates to it. And he also said that you can intercept the SOCKS Wi-Fi traffic and send or not intercept, but I guess basically kind of like not even a retransmit, but just transmit as a SOC and alert or turn or subdue alerts and all sorts of stuff. So that's kind of interesting. But I'm sure if you got a new one, that's version 2. I don't know if they fixed anything or not, because this was almost a year and a half ago, I think, that this article was written. But yeah, when you get it, man, plug it in and freaking poke at it and see what it spits out.
Hell yeah! Oh my goodness! Yeah, so far that's been the gist of my week, fellas. It's just putting out fires and making sure no more fires come upon us.
You know how it always goes. So what's next on the topic list?
It's a free for all. Those are,
It's funny that you bring up Metasploit, though. I've been playing with that here the last couple of days, trying to figure out exactly how it works and how to use it. I've never used it before.
But I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that, But it's just
at the same time, I want to understand, like the underlying attacks and how they're working too, though.
Right.
It's more of a this is easy, and not a this is how you do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay.
Sorry, we're driving.
We? Don't you mean you?
Yeah. Well, I got the whole family in the car. So.
Hello, whole family.
I got headphones in. The wife complains a lot if she can hear what I'm listening to.
Hey, whole family.
She'd yell at me.
She yell at you.
That's a
What are
shame.
you doing?
Right?
Are you on the phone with those geeks?
Yes.
Oh goodness! Oh goodness! I was going to say something like I dare you to start a game of I Spy.
Are those geeks more important than our relationship?
On Wednesday.
Yes, on Wednesdays. Should start talking about ice cream. It had nothing to do with the rest of the people in the car.
Right?
uh,
See, what else did I mess with this week? Drawing a blank. Can't think of anything. I found an interesting wireless network at my kid's dance class called Virus Test N. I'm assuming N for
What
wireless
is that?
N.
I saw that.
I don't know what it is. But all I had was my phone.
I thought maybe they had a Wi-Fi last week because there's no service there.
Come on, Adrian.
Sorry, man. I don't have much to say.
What are your plans for DerbyCon?
Help set up what I can. Probably I think they're doing Google InfoSec just before DebbieCon like they did last year. So I'll be set to record them as well. Other than that, I may attend the. I don't know. I may try to work my way into Scott White's class. I think he's doing one on web app testing.
So where are they holding that at?
Classes?
No, the Louisville InfoSec.
I thought they were going to do it at the Hyatt again.
Oh, okay, because I haven't been since they had it back in Bullitt County. When they were all afraid of the big scary hackers.
So I don't remember any new InfoSec news for this week.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that appears to be not dying is that domino effect from that Google memo.
Yeah.
Are they still talking about that? I forgot all about it already. It's crap that they fired that guy, but
It is what it is.
all right. Trying to think. I was thinking about something earlier. Can't remember what it was now.
Whoa. Shit.
I'm going to my Twitter feed to see if there's anything interesting.
Sorry, I'm not more talkative. I just sort of tired this week, I guess.
Usually Charles is going nuts too, but I guess he's sleepy as well.
He's asleep right now.
Probably. Passed out.
Someone on YouTube chat asking if any recommendations for companies to hire interns.
Recommendations for companies to hire interns.
Pen testing interns.
Pen testing interns, good luck. It just depends on where you're from. I mean, I know does have an internship program, but I don't know if they hire strictly for pen testing like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know of a lot of companies that do internships, really. Like, I know there's a few, but like you said, it's mostly like, oh, we need developers.
Or well, we can have the interns do this shit work, like this new wiring project we want to do.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's another thing, though. Like, with pen testing, like Charles brought up CEH or whatever, right? Certified Ethical Hacker. Has anybody like read the book for that? It's not all that in depth. Like,
Wait a minute, CEH. It's not that it's all that in depth. It's just that it covers a whole fucking slew of tools, and most of them are outdated and not even used anymore. And then you're still asked questions about them.
right? Yeah. So I mean, that's how do you kind of quantify the fact that you have the knowledge and the ability to do this, or even you know enough to be taught to do it, but you don't have a certification? Like, I think more companies need to do more of like not necessarily internships, but apprenticeships. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
I agree.
the company I work for does to an extent, but still they require you to have, depending on what job role you wind up in, but they definitely depend on you getting the CEH. They definitely depend on you getting CISSP. So, and now they're pushing for CASP, since that one's supposed to be the quote unquote easier one and cheaper, but whatever.
It's only cheaper if you pass it the first time.
What, CEH or CASP?
Yeah, well, I was just referring to any certification, I guess.
Well, I mean, when I took the CEH and passed it, it cost me $600, $500 for the cert. I mean, $500 for the voucher, and then $100 for them to approve for me to take the damn thing without their training. And only passed it after a week and a half of cracking a book.
But you're super amazing, and we expect that from you.
I'm not super amazing. I'm actually kind of dumb.
Sorry, I was ordering dinner. You were saying something about taking a test without taking their course first?
Oh, CH, you know how they tax you? They tax you that extra $100 if you don't take their $1,500 training.
Yeah, and then the test is $1,000 anyway, or almost, right?
No, it's only $500.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was like, what?
Yeah, but they still tax you, and that's all they do is look at your resume and say, "Oh, well, you're good enough." Okay.
Right. Yeah, I saw that. I was looking at some other stuff, and they're like, "Oh, well, you gotta take our training, or you can't take the test." It's kind of crap. And I'm sure their training's not all that great anyway.
Oh no, it's fucking horrible.
What about like OSCP? I know it's more hands-on and more in depth, but I mean, it's stupidly expensive.
Yeah, and that one I'm not. That one I'm not even going to touch anytime soon, because I know it's. If I'm gonna take the test, I'm at least gonna get the bottom line foundations done first, and I'm not gonna be like one of my friends who took it with another one of his his coworker, and then he copied his coworker's report. But you didn't hear that from me.
Oh, shame. Don't they have like logs and see what you actually did though?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about the end results of the report.
I thought you had to have screenshots and everything of what you actually what you actually did.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the only thing he did was change a few words around, and still
Damn.
got OSCP just based upon that guy's report.
That's kind of jacked up. But did he actually complete the tasks, or did he just submit the report?
I don't know. I just know that I just know the report at the end. They the one guy wrote it up. Then he gave him a copy, and then they shift submitted them. So like he submitted his 2 hours beforehand, and then like a couple hours later he submitted his.
Isn't that kind of funny?
He's not fair.
It's so easy to cheat on, apparently.
Well, I mean, it is kind of easy to cheat on because there's nobody's watching you while you're doing this. I mean, it'd be 24 hours of someone having to watch you. So it's it's not like it'd be that hard for you to have somebody else there that knew what they were doing helping you out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we fall silent again.
So I'm the guy from YouTube that asked that question, and then YouTube crashed right when you started answering it. So I actually didn't hear any of it.
You said you were looking for internships at a company, or?
Yeah, I'm basically looking for any internship that is going to be relevant to information security. I mean, pen testing is kind of, the holy grail of what I would like to do, but I know that it's not going to be the first thing that I do.
I guess don't get stuck in one field. Branch out.
Well, I mean that's the thing with like security, infosec or whatever as a whole. You've got to know a whole lot to blue team, and you should really understand a lot to red team. But nowadays, with all these tools and stuff, you don't really have to know or understand a lot to red team. I think blue teaming is actually much harder than red teaming, to tell you the truth.
The only experience I have
You're kind of hot, baby.
facts, and then whatever I'm learning
Oh. I feel sore.
Well, yeah. I mean, considering what blue team entails, I mean, there's so many paths to the top, but then you could start off. You could start off like I am, which is just basically working with firewalls, or you can work whitelist, or you can
I got dropped out of the call.
How?
Do you think that mobile application security would be a decent route into it?
I don't worry about it.
At the sheer number of mobile apps, probably.
I might have a shot at a mobile app security internship.
It's only going to grow. Mobile apps is only going to grow.
right.
Right. I mean, desktops and desktop apps aren't going to go away anytime soon, but mobile apps are only going to continue growing. I mean, just open up the Play Store and freaking browse through. I mean, you'd sit there all day and not even get halfway through the damn thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as a black hat, I imagine that's kind of like a gold mine for vulnerabilities.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people actually upload malicious apps directly into the App Store, and it's just kind of like you just develop the malware, put it out there as a stupid little game, and away you go.
Hey, congratulations! You now have a mobile phone botnet.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like freaking Silicon Valley and stuff. You know, you got the internet too going on. Nobody watched Silicon Valley?
Yeah.
When freaking all the app uploads itself to all the refrigerators because they didn't secure it, and any fridge that gets an update automatically just pushes out the update to everybody else. Developer security right there, man. That's a perfect example.
Where do you watch Silicon Valley? Is it on?
It's on HBO. I subscribe to HBO through they have their monthly subscription thing. It's like $15 a month.
Or you can catch
HBO.
Or you can catch it on Ghetto Netflix.
Oh yeah, or you can do that. Yeah, I subscribe to HBO through Amazon. Just watch Amazon and HBO stuff at the same time, or same place. Yeah, mobile app security is definitely going to be a thing, and like I said, I don't think a lot of. I mean, there are people looking at it, but I don't think a lot of people are really digging into and trying to break these apps and see what they can get out of them. Like the banking app that's got 1 million or better people using it, the Mint. You know, like people are like, oh, you should use Mint, and I look at it, I'm like, well, I don't know. You know, it's going to have all my information, and you want it to be online all the time.
I do 10 push-ups now.
So what do you guys do here? I mean, I know.
Well,
Irongeek.
well, right now everyone has to do 10 push-ups because she said do 10 push-ups.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we'll get back to talking.
You're making everybody do 10 push-ups now.
Wow.
So what do we do here? Well, we discuss issues that we deem important or entertaining. We talk about specific things that are on our mind, whether it be geeky or not.
Right.
Just a group of
I think he was
people
more.
come together. Yeah.
I think he was more referring to, you know, occupations, or you know, some of us are hobbyists. Some of us are, you know, actually work in the industry. Some of us just really like nerdy shit. There's a mixture. And then there's Irongeek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We put him
Unless
on
he
a
just gets
pedestal.
drunk and falls asleep.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of the first streams were like 9 hours long because he passed out and we just stayed up till like 4 in the morning.
The good old days. I log back in and only he's sitting there.
Too bad he leave his camera on. That'd be even funnier.
I think I had done that once before, actually. Bedford ended up calling me, and would call him to try to wake me up.
Yep.
That's where the website IrongeekPunani.com came from. So.
Oh, nice to have him aware of this.
You guys meet like
Do what?
do you meet?
Yeah, every Wednesday Irongeek throws this thing up. Some days we actually have lots of interesting things to talk about. Other weeks we just kind of sit here and breathe on each other for a few hours.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I didn't feel intimidated at the moment to join the people hanging out. I don't.
The breathing lured you in, huh?
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. One of the guys usually fills up the thing with topics, and I guess he didn't do it this week.
Yeah, George hasn't done that for a couple weeks now. We probably got tired of being the only one that ever adds anything hardly. So I'm trying to add a few things, but
Well, here's the thing, training. I know some of you guys work in corporate environments or whatever, but do you guys do ongoing training, and what do you use to do that? Just your own time and inspiration, or does your company give you time to do it? Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Do you feel companies should give time though for training and ongoing education?
Absolutely.
yes, yes. If a company wanted to, if a company today is going to offer me to pay me slightly less, but give me a training budget, I would
And
jump.
right, you're like, oh hey, we'll let you freaking go, pay for your OSCP exam or some crap, or something like that, right? Like, or you get personally $5,000 a year for training.
Yeah.
I mean, $5,000 a year is that's barely one SANS course. You know what I mean?
Well,
God
I
forbid you
mean,
got to travel.
I've seen people who got offers like that where it was less upfront. It was less upfront, but then just by how many years you're at the company, it might start off with you get 5K a year, and it maxes out at 7,500 a year.
Yeah, so that's not too bad. But yeah, I kind of a lot of companies don't seem to do that, and like you kind of get stagnant not being able to study, and then of course if you have kids, it takes a lot of time away from your personal studying time.
So what do these like courses give you that you can't just learn on your own? A piece of paper? Like is there like
No,
separate?
no, not necessarily. I mean, certain aspects, I mean, certain concepts. A lot of times, it's just easier to have somebody explain it to you first. Like some of the stuff is pretty in depth. Like subnetting. Have you done subnetting yet?
Yeah, I don't even know what that word means.
It's exactly like it's
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think this is what Charles was talking about.
He's a millennial. That's why.
but subnetting, like, it literally took me almost a month to understand it, and then as soon as it clicked, I was like, why did it take me so long? You know what I mean? But it's just one of those things that it takes a while for it to click, and then as soon as it clicks, you're like, oh, I got it. And I was just literally doing it on my own until I started talking to the network guys at the place I was working, and they started showing it to me, and then I started actually doing some networking stuff with them to kind of understand it a little better. And then it clicked. I was like, oh wow, this is easy. Why was it so hard?
It does help to have someone to bounce ideas off of always.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a lot like you're trying to figure something out, and you want somebody there to talk to that kind of understands what you're saying, and they're just staring at you like you're crazy. And then eventually you just figure it out on your own, and they really didn't do anything, but it helps to have somebody that, there and sympathetic, kind of, I guess.
Emotional support.
So anybody read any good books recently?
I've started a book. Haven't read it fully. It's Sherlock Holmes versus Cthulhu. So far, it's pretty good.
Started reading.
So I'm unloading the family.
Well, DA's book's pretty interesting. Too bad I don't have the time to actually implement some of the things.
And I've got Milo Yiannopoulos' book Dangerous upstairs. I need to read through, but I just when I go to sleep, I just go to sleep. I don't read like I used to before going to bed.
You're reading through DA's book right now?
Yeah.
I read it when it was still called Project Avatar, and I started to implement some of it, and then
Life happened.
yeah, exactly. Like 6 VMs just sitting there off, like not doing anything, half-ass set up. But yeah, what was it? I can't remember. It was some network configuration that I asked him if he was going to cover it because it wasn't working for me, and I was using a different environment than the environments he had. And I'm like, hey, I'm getting this problem, and he never responded. And then of course I had another kid and haven't been able to get back to figuring it out.
Darn kids just keep getting in the way. But on the bright side, later they carry things for you and you can order them around.
I know, right? Take out the trash. Now this one just flails around, throws up, and poops a lot. And cries.
Just sort of described to most of us.
Right.
Do you guys have any pet projects you're working on?
Adrian records a lot of stuff.
I don't know if you would consider that his pet project. It may be the real reason for him to be who he is. And there's whiskey and mead involved too. So
Right. Yeah, mead.
Adrian, were you at Circle City Con?
Yes.
That's crazy. I swear to God, I was like sitting in one of the main, like the thing they do every morning where they just like kind of tell you what's going to happen. And I thought I heard you, and I was like, nah. There's like, but you have a really distinct voice. And then I saw you uploading videos from it like after it happened. I was like, holy crap! I would have come up and talked to you if I'd known you were there.
Yeah, I've recorded every one of the Circle City cons. I think this was the 4th one.
Yeah, I only got to go for like one day, but I got a free pass from somebody in my ISSA chapter. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's an easy one for me to get to. It's only like a 2-hour drive away.
I think that's another thing that's wrong with security. The ISSA chapters. Does yours do anything like worthwhile, or do they just have vendors show up and then go drink beer and eat dinner?
They don't even drink beer. Like, it's in the
Hell, they skipped the best part.
listen, one of the key aspects of InfoSec and as computer industry as a whole is that you have to know how to handle your alcohol. So start drinking heavily, all right? Because it will come into play.
But I mean, I'm still a noob. But I feel like it's just, I don't know. I honestly don't know why people go there. I know why the vendors go there, because they're kind of like 50% selling their product, 50% trying to inform people about what their product actually does.
Well, I think a lot of it is too is they get to write all that off as advertising or whatever.
Yeah. Like, I've stopped going recently because it's not even good for networking. I mean, I don't learn anything while I'm there. I don't get any interesting comments.
Well, yeah, you know. But yeah, they don't. None of them went over it. They didn't go over anything. The one here either. Like, you know, like I said, vendors show up and then they talk about whatever app they got or programming.
New widget.
Yeah, new whiz bang.
Yeah.
You know she got the radio on.
She's a smart kid.
No, these are mine. This is my work.
Yeah, I don't know if it feels like a lot of people nowadays, you know, they get home and I know like a couple of the guys I work with that have been in the industry for 30 years, you know, the IT industry. They used to go home and, you know, have pet projects and, you know, their home network had all this cool stuff, but now they're like, I gotta link this router and when I get home I don't want to freaking do anything. Like I don't even want to see a computer. You know?
Well, I'm a lot like that, actually. When I get home, I'm like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I work from home, and I spend 8 hours in front of the computer. You think I really want to spend another 8 in front of the big blinky box? Nah, I'm good.
I will invariably have a couple of projects I ended up fiddling around with, but it's usually if you're stuck in front of a computer all day, you don't want to touch it later when you get home. Other than my brother, he'll spend 15 hours at a time in front of a computer, come home, and gotta play games, gotta play games.
That's technically not being in front of a computer.
It does some form of computation.
Yeah, it computes when my bullet hit your head. Oh.
I guess I have to do projects because there's no other way that I'm going to learn anything about, being a white hat or any sort of hat. There's no learning if it's like if I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing is you gotta until you get into a job or anything like that it does it. You kind of got to do it on your own,
I don't know who I was talking to the other day. They said there's no such thing as white hat, black hats. It's white hats and criminals. I think it was Jason I was talking to.
And what?
White hats and criminals.
No, there's people who do their job, and then there's criminals who break the law. There's no white hat, black hat. It's just people who do their job, and those who break the law. Those are criminals.
Those guys are job providers.
Yeah, I feel like that's a ridiculous argument. Just change the law, and then they're not criminals anymore. There's good citizens, and then there's evil people.
Right? I mean, it's just same thing with a lot of things, and they want to make criminals. That's what they do is change the laws. But nobody wants to go back the other way. Like, did you hear about that kid? I don't know when this happened. It was overseas, European country. They made some new transportation agency website, and he figured out that he could change the URL and buy a train or a plane ticket for like 99 cents. So he buys the ticket and then discloses the information and the ticket and everything to the, basically a proof of concept to the people that run the site and the authorities, and they come and arrest him.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's like the kid helped you out and you arrested him. Like, what kind of signals does that send to other people that you're trying to help you?
Yeah, right.
And that's the developer mindset, and that's we spent X amount of dollars, euros, what the fuck ever currency, and this little kid caught us with our pants down. Fuck him.
Yeah, exactly. You made me look like the idiot I am, so now I'm gonna fuck you over.
That right there shows, gives everybody the idea of, I'm not going to help you anymore. We're just going to screw you over. Thumbs up.
Sure, that's how you treat people in the broadcast.
Exactly.
Okay, that's how you're going to treat people.
Yeah. I definitely get upset, but then I want to do anything right.
All right, I got a question for everybody. What are your preferred stimulants for the job? Coffee, tea, yerba mate?
Cocaine.
Oh.
Cocaine, speed, the normal stuff.
You have to be doing some really intricate work for cocaine, I suppose.
Mine is powered by Newport cigarettes and Mountain Dew. Oh, and Hot Pockets.
Are you my roommate?
It used to be Jolt Cola and some type of food. But nowadays, it's tea in the morning and water for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I used to have Joel too in high school.
Is that a dog? I saw a dog.
Yeah, I saw a dog too.
That's what happened.
We're all just watching Mary.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
So, Mary, how goes that commissioned art project? Okay, Mary? Hello? You there, Mary?
Definitely having phone trouble.
So it's saying, we want to check the status of that piece of artwork I commissioned from
Which one was it?
the one that's going to have Skydog, Trevor Hunch stretched out on
Oh,
a
right. Yeah.
fainting couch, saying something like
Titanic
the
scene.
French hackers or something like that, or Tennessee hackers. So instead of like that diamond or whatever they have in the movie Titanic, they put like a con badge there. And it should hopefully be funny.
Oh wait, something else did happen this week. Did you guys hear about the latest leak?
Nope.
The Fappening?
Nope.
2017?
The
In
Fappening?
2017.
2017, yep.
We got busted
There's
this.
another one. It was about 5 or 6. 5 or 6 of them. I can't remember exactly who it all was.
What is the Fappening?
We've become incidents of celebrities, mostly women, having the nudes leaked from like private phone messages. There's
Okay,
several rounds of these big releases.
that makes sense. I had in my mind leaks of people fapping.
Okay, so it's this round since it's the Fappening 3.0. It's Miley Cyrus, Kristen Stewart, Tiger Woods.
Oh yeah.
That's so far.
Remind me again.
Miley Cyrus, Kristen Stewart, the fucking funny bitch from that fucking
Vampire
yeah, I can't fucking stand her ass, and Tiger Woods.
It sounds like she personally wronged you at some point in time.
No, she just has only one face.
That's actually reassuring to me.
I mean, like Paul Walker?
I don't know. I just only watched the racings.
Paul Walker has two faces now. It's his live face and his dead face.
Right. With the CGI. Like, dude, every movie I watch that guy in, he's always the same guy. You know what I mean? It's not like I like Johnny Depp. I mean, Johnny Depp's weird as hell though, so I guess he could probably get way into the role. But like Johnny Depp movies, you're like, who was that? You know, like what actor was that? Like he even moves differently. Paul Walker's always like this stiff, like awkwardly placed person.
Yeah. Anybody here ever had nudes leak?
Not mine.
Me either.
Hmm?
Well, I've heard tales of this one site back in the day called Pink Meth.
Oh yes.
Hey, is that George? Thought I saw George. Maybe not.
Yeah, that pink meth site was a revenge porn site that lasted for a while, also on the darknet, though eventually got shut down.
Yes, and the payouts on that site was so wonderful. So I heard.
Payouts, people made.
What, you think people were doing it for free? Get the fuck out of here.
A lot of those were just paid models.
No, they weren't paid models. I'm just saying.
So essentially, people were just posting pics of their girlfriends nude for money.
That's the one.
Pretty much.
Did you hear her? That's not what you were laughing. The welcome lady.
Who else has any content? Well, let me go to the other chat and see if anybody has any questions.
What time do you guys host this channel on Wednesdays? Do you start at like?
Oh, we start the stream up at 7. We usually hang out a little bit before, like maybe at 6:45 Eastern Standard Time.
Like, is that EST?
Yes, every Wednesday.
I'm an online student, so any interaction with anyone else that has some sort of conception of technology is very.
Where are you going to school at?
Arizona State.
You're always welcome to join.
Yeah, I probably will. I need to talk to people that have similar interests, I think.
You can always hit us up on Twitter too.
Maybe I should tweet. I barely have a Facebook account though.
Yeah, I'm looking on my Twitter. Let's see what drama actually is on my front page. Okay, Miss Bet's talking about Shadow IT. He says Philly announcement. Some stuff about talk cancellation of Horizon talk. A bunch of stuff looks like Antifa stuff.
Okay, I've got a question you guys might find interesting. So I've been messing around with like radio frequency hacking and doing replay attacks off of key fobs. And a friend of mine who is a sysadmin, and I'm not sure what he would do with it, but he wanted to buy one off of me. He wanted me to build him something called a roll jam, where basically it's like a remote device that does rolling code attacks. Is that illegal to do that, to like build that for somebody?
It's technically not illegal to build it for somebody unless you know you're selling it to them for illegal purposes.
I
But
can only imagine.
what I'm assuming he's doing is proving a point to his boss so he can buy a cool new toy.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And that's what I would do with it.
Might try to make that my next little experiment then, see if I can actually do that.
Maybe that's what we should start doing, Adrian. We should just have people come on and ask random questions.
That will work.
We got a plethora of range of information and knowledge. You know what I mean? Between the 4 or 5 of us that are usually on here, we even got a lady that can tell you about goats.
All right. Well, unless someone else, I guess we'll call it a night early.
Anyone else go down and see the eclipse? Totally.
I did not get to go up and see it totally, but I did go outside and watch it.
Yeah, I went to Clarksville, Tennessee, like I said earlier.
I stayed there Sunday night. I went to Fairview, Kentucky to see it in totality because they got that great big Jefferson Davis monument, that huge obelisk, and it was quite something to see, to be there when it happens.
Did you say Jefferson Davis? I'm triggered.
Oh my god!
My family specializes in triggering people.
That stuff pisses me off, though. The whole freaking we're gonna tear down the monuments because that guy was racist or something. It's like, well, that's not really what it's about.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know, thinking, but also you're kind of like erasing cultural things.
Yeah, but then everybody says, well, that's a straw man. That's not going to happen. That's a red herring. I'm like, but then what? But then if you set this dangerous precedent, then what's to stop them from tearing down the Vietnam War memorials, or the World War II war memorials, or Korean War memorials?
I'm pretty sure I'd have bullets to say about that one. You know, like.
But I'm just saying that to me that's like skull creep. What's to stop them from doing that next?
Well, you know, like all war memorials need to be taken down. You know, like yeah, okay, sure, you know.
Yeah, I've heard they've been taking down Confederate statues in cemeteries. It's kind of like.
Well, that's what
why?
I mean, you can't erase history. Leave it the fuck alone. You know. It happened.
It's because the dead people have an issue with statues.
Right.
I mean, isn't like the people who want to tear down the statues? Isn't dead Confederate soldiers something they want? Like symbolically, isn't that like their nirvana? Isn't like the statue there a good thing to them?
We're gonna have ghost issues though if we don't stop. We're gonna piss off dead people.
True. This is like modern day Indian burial grounds being disturbed.
Exactly.
We're gonna have friggin' the Ghost Confederate Army show up.
And so are they going to haunt? They're just going to haunt houses built on top of the graves.
And Democrats.
I don't know. I'm kind of wondering when this is all going to come to a head and people are going to start fighting each other. For real.
And this is just multiple small-scale skirmishes. This is not going to reach critical mass. No way.
Well,
unless we start taking down Starbucks.
Right.
This all reeks of mostly top-down crap with the occasional small, like, grassroots crap. I don't really see anything that makes me think that things are completely out of control.
Well, I mean, you got major cities pulling down freaking monuments because a bunch of white kids in their freaking town are throwing a fit about freaking racist Confederate soldiers.
Because they want to prove how wicked and woke they are.
Right, yeah. What's funny is the local NAACP chapter here, where I'm at, was like, oh, we want this Confederate monument taken down, and the mayor, who's a Democrat, was like, no. End of discussion. No. Like, I mean, you can't. It happened. Get over it. It's done. We fixed the issue. You know what I mean? Like, when nobody's celebrating these people, it's a monument to what happened, you know?
What happens to the monuments when they take them down?
The last one they took down got destroyed because they fucking ripped it off. Bunch of idiots. Like, literally destroyed a 300-year-old statue.
Didn't they also desecrate the tomb of the unknown soldier?
They put tops over the one in Charlottesville.
Say, what was that?
They put tops over the Robert E. Lee statue in Charlottesville. There's huge tops just covering it. So I guess nobody can see it. They can't be offended or something.
God.
Dude,
Wait a minute, hold up. What color was the tarp?
Black.
Triggered.
I was hoping it was going to be a white tarp and a tiki torch, you know.
with a cone to keep it from draping on his face.
Yeah.
Now I just have the urge to just find every single Confederate statue I can and just put a tiki torch near it.
I'm thinking of getting some tiki torches for my backyard, just for the hell of it.
Local stores.
Wait, are tiki torches racist now?
Is that like
What's going on here?
They can be.
It's a new Nazi flag.
Nah.
Is it really the new Nazi flag?
Yes.
Not yet. Kinda. Stores are not pulling it down yet. At least not where I live. So.
Dude, then what are you supposed to?
Dude, wait, you can't just freaking take a tiki torch and make it a freaking Nazi flag. Like,
if you associate it with
is the Nazi party behind this?
It's a new Nazi flag.
Is the neo-Nazi party or whatever behind this? Are they like running around with tiki torches everywhere?
Oh, during like that big protest where someone died, the neo-Nazis were all mostly holding tiki torches. That's why the association was created.
It's because they were lazy and didn't know how to make real torches.
Yeah, they didn't want to make a real torch.
They probably just bought a bunch of torches from the local store that were on sale.
Are they going to protest Adventureland and Walt Disney World? They had the tiki room right there. You know, in the tiki room. That's what he says.
Right.
Stop appropriating somebody else's culture.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it really would not be hard at all for a poll to make tiki torches the new Pepe.
That's ridiculous.
Oh god, everything about this is ridiculous. Just roll with it, have fun.
But I really think that a lot more people are going to wind up dying soon. You know what I mean?
Same here.
I mean, so far Antifa's targets have been trash cans and statues, so...
Well, I'm not saying that a lot of the people on that quote-unquote alt-right are going to die. I'm saying a whole bunch of Antifa are probably going to get mowed down. Because they're going to throw a rock at somebody and he's just going to have fun.
I have a sudden urge to go buy a whole bunch of tiki torches and get ready for Halloween and put some ghosts with pointy hats in the yard.
Why buy pointy hats? Oh God! Why? Yes.
Yeah, he's gonna have a Hawaiian dunce party.
Why?
Sounds good.
Why? Do you want my Halloween costume from 7 years ago?
Sure.
They're going to be a bunch of bad ghosts. They're going to be all wearing the dunce hat.
A couple of pointed white ghosts and a couple of pointed black ghosts should be floating around the yard.
No. I mean, somebody did not believe me that I actually have clan robes, and boy, was
Well, it's not an everyday thing for someone to have.
they're easy to get.
They are if you're in the clan.
No. It's a freaking red patch with a cross on it and a white robe.
No, I
Bed
got
Bath & Beyond.
I got mine off a website. It was that this black landlord had a
Was it
tenant
Clanazon?
that had a tenant that sold clan goods, and well, he bounced, and well, he wound up with all this shit, and so it had to get sold somehow.
So the black landlord decided, instead of destroying the Nazi iconography, he was just going to go ahead and sell it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Capitalism.
yes.
Hey, gotta make money.
Sure. Not the expected
What's
outcome.
funny
but
is the black landlord was renting a property to a. I mean, you can't. Literally, if you'll let a black guy rent you property, you can't actually call yourself a racist. Oh, man, it's terrible.
Good times.
Like all these ideological freaking crazy people out there, just they drink the Kool-Aid and say this is what they are, but they really don't have a clue what the hell they are.
Wait. Wouldn't a black landlord renting to a white man be whitewashing? A lot of these Antifa kids, they'll grow up and stop being so fucking retarded.
No, they won't.
It's a
No, they
lot
fucking
of them,
won't.
not all of them won't. You really think that these early 20-something rich white kids who bitch about white guys and are really going to be able to keep that mentality and go into the workforce? My God.
Yes.
Why do you think that?
I'm gonna hop off. See you guys later.
All right.
There we go.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Because there's already a few of them out there.
Well,
you mean you're looking at tech right now as a microcosm of that?
Well, no, I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not looking at tech. I'm looking at things I've seen. In particular, in particular on Fort Knox, when I was seeing the incoming next class of officers, and they were like, "We need our personal time. Oh, this place is so hot. We need slushy machines," and they fucking got them.
Oh, shit.
Are you sure they weren't
Wow.
just fucking around and decided to take the joke that far?
No,
What?
no. They
What happened to
they
this?
fucking really got fucking slushy machines, and I
I
found
don't
What
doubt
happened to the real army?
what real army?
Like the army I grew up in, you would have freaking they would have brought in a slushy machine, and then the cadre would have drank it all in front of you, and then destroyed it.
Give you a swirl,
Like,
man.
they would have took a freaking M16 to the damn thing. You're like right in the middle of the freaking cafeteria,
Well, no, these are ROTC cadets, so they have to coddle them through the process.
Oh God.
So they get
But
they
he's
get
just
coddled, they get coddled through the process, and then at any time they can say, "I quit. I can't do this no more." Like there was a bunch of times when I was at CIF fixing equipment, and this one guy he saw all the stuff that he was getting issued. I can't handle this. This is overwhelming.
I can't handle this. This is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how freaking you actually go through CIF the first time? Like they literally hand you a duffel bag and start throwing shit at you.
And you better move. You better not ask questions.
And you better catch everything that gets thrown at you too. Or you have about 6 drill sergeants freaking screaming down your neck, shoving you down the line.
Let me see here. What else? But then in the IT world, I was actually at a help desk, and this guy was like, so he was having issues, and I was like, so explain to me what's going on, and he just wanted to be spoon fed the answers, and this was a coworker of mine.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. You know.
Well, if he doesn't know what it is, then wouldn't it be the explanation de facto be give him answers?
No, tell me what you tried. Tell me what didn't work.
Yeah. What'd you do already? But yeah,
Okay.
like even the new help desk guy we have, you know, like I'll try and teach him something, and like I had him run an IF config on a Windows machine, and I was like, "What's the name of the wireless interface?" And he's just like, I don't know. He's looking at this because it's not a nice, pretty, like, you know, just one interface with, you know, dots and freaking the labels, like the way IF config dumps it out is a little different than Windows. He's just staring at this blob, and it won't take the time to like slow down and actually parse the information, you know. And I'm like, dude, stop. Read every letter on the screen and number, all of it. Read the whole thing. Now tell me the name of the interface. You know,
Well, can't you tell me?
no, I'm not telling. It's right there. Read it. You know, like it's like.
I think people are afraid to admit that they don't know it, and then like sit there and go through the process of figuring it out in front of someone. I'm not sure why that is.
The gap between people who know how to use, like, the gap between different tiers of technology seems intimidating to a lot of people. It's someone who really does not know command line at all going to someone who's a command line whiz kid.
I'm a command line retard. I figured it out.
You know? Oh yeah. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's intimidating to some people.
I still suck at it. You know.
You have to be comfortable with the fact that you're going to face like years of consistent confusion. Like as soon as you learn one thing, well, now you're going to be confused about something else. Like you're never going to have it.
Well,
everyone is confused.
The thing is, it was like, you know,
I believe the main problem is people is between I think I know there's a gap of truth, and everybody's become this like I'm a YouTube genius, and they just are afraid of being like taught something because they want to play the genius card.
Is that Canopics?
Yeah. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Long time no see.
Oh, dude, I just fucking lost my phone at DEF CON. Put it in some
Lost
acid.
your son?
My phone.
Oh.
Yeah. But how you guys been?
Been doing all right.
Yeah.
Mostly okay.
Hey, are you guys still doing the Discord?
Yeah, every now and then.
Shit, I gotta get in there. But yeah, but that's the main problem that I see when you go to places and you say, yeah, this is ipconfig /all, or you show them like, yeah, so show me where's the tunneling happening for the IPv6, and they're like, what's IPv6? That does not exist.
What's Teredo mean?
Merito, that's the thing for the tunneling for the IPv6.
That's the worm. That's the worm that eats your boat.
What?
It's a worm that eats your boat.
No. Oh, that's right. That's that thingy.
Tastes good in tequila.
Yeah, that's where they got the name Teredo from for the tunneling program.
Yeah. That's pretty
And
interesting.
the boat eating worm.
What is that static?
It's water. Sorry.
Oh, what? Are you like on a Beyonce mode or something?
No, I'm getting the bath ready for the kid.
Oh, I see. You're with the kiddos.
You always gonna be the sound taken off. You ready? Look at that face.
Yeah, but I don't know what you guys any of you guys went to like DEF CONs or Telefreakers party?
I did not make it.
At the DEF CON, but did not go to the Telefreakers party.
No.
Yeah, I went
I
to
was
the
hoping to
Huge
meet
Party
some.
and Blanket Party.
Yeah. I was at the canceled party when it actually got canceled. You guys heard about that?
The what party? Castle party?
The canceled party is by the Telefreakers guy. It's called the
Oh.
canceled party. Yeah. This guy fell off and freaking hit his head. And yeah, it's bad.
Did he make it?
I don't know. I know we all got kicked out.
Yeah, I'd imagine some people have probably died over the years at DEF CON. These kind of things apparently do happen. Now people have died at MagFest. It's a much smaller convention with a much less wild crowd.
There's a number of people out there. Jack. You think to be somebody who's passing, but I don't know of anybody.
Yeah, neither do I.
Gilcon knows someone, but and someone's got some really bad.
Mayflies.
Is there an echo here?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
I think it's Pen.
There was no echo until you came online again. FYI.
I'm not sure. I just know when you shut yours down, it's the echo goes away. I don't know.
Troll.
So, I heard apparently that someone dressed as Pedo Bear was at the Roots Asylum this year. Can anyone confirm that?
What is Roots Asylum?
The DEF CON for kids.
Oh, I have no clue.
That's trolly as hell.
Oh,
No,
I will laugh my ass off.
That's a lie. I was there with the kiddos. None of that happened.
Oh, were you there the whole time? But still. I mean, if he was there and he wasn't there much of the time, then that's disappointing.
Did you guys hear Busta Rhymes is going to be at DerbyCon?
For what?
He's going to be singing. I guess. Rapping, whatever he does. Going to be at the Saturday party.
Yeah, Martin does all the scheduling entertainment. I don't know much about him.
He's probably in his half retirement, half crackhead phase. I need small venues.
So who all is going to DerbyCon this year? Any of you guys going?
I'm going.
I couldn't get a ticket.
What? I can get you a ticket.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you come in with me. Just as I went into DEF CON as a bike messenger.
I'll be there.
Now we can make the badges. I'll show you.
It's a patch. You need an embroidery machine.
Don't worry about it. We got this.
I did hear a few people got free DEF CON badges for trying to make imitation badges.
I think that should be a thing. If you make a plausible freaking fake, it should be allowed.
I got a free badge and never used it either. Even though I was like with like Ninja Networks and whatever, and they got me all this stuff, and I was like, whatever, I don't need that. And I just kept on just breaking in and walking through the rooms and shit. It was a lot of fun again. There was one made out of candles. You guys saw that one?
I have not.
You got this guy named Seastone, and he works at the DEF CON, and they were like showing me like they were talking about the fake badges, and they had this one made out of wax. They literally made it out of wax, and it looked really good too. But you can tell it was fake. He got close enough to it, but it was legit.
He probably took one of his buddy's badge and pressed it, molded it.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, dude. Go in there and you tell me, yeah, I'm with Postmates. I got pictures. It's pretty interesting. And they just let me go through. Oh yeah, I gotta go to the reg office, whatever the reg, and then like I walked there and then whoop, just about faced from there, and he kept on going. It was fun, definitely fun.
Looks good.
We fall off again?
Yeah, well, I'm still here.
Oh, so a random thing. Anyone see that CNN? I think it was CNN or MSNBC. One of the two reported on Kekistan.
The one I saw that also was told was a fake.
Oh, there was a real one that came later.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So they reported on Kekistan being an actual place?
No, they reported on Kekistan, the Kekistan flag as symbols of neo-Nazism.
Are you fucking kidding me? Now I gotta get a Kekistani flag.
Already got one.
I know you got one.
I didn't know Sargon of Akkad was that powerful to get the mainstream news to report on the shitpost. That is we live in amazing times. The period of time between parody and real is shrinking at every moment.
But what's crazy is that some random ass person on YouTube can get CNN to fucking make an article about it, you know?
It wasn't an article. It was actually like newscasters watching on TV.
That's even worse. Like, that's the other thing that pisses me off. Like, what happened to news? Like, and you know, like the news and the media or whatever. What happened to like actually verifying your sources and doing investigative journalism? Like, what happened to that shit? Like now, literally, the news just fucking repost Reddit. You know what I mean?
Best I can tell, it's you have a few people who sound authoritative and a bunch of people who are way out of their depth of anything internet related. So they just try to defer to the people who seem like they're knowledgeable. Unfortunately, reporters are human and they make human mistakes. This time, it's just with disastrous and hilarious consequences.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, it's like they didn't do any investigation into, you know, the topic. Like, it's not that hard. Just Google it, first of all. And second of all, like, what kind of credentials did this knowledgeable person have? You know, what you know, where do they work? What do they do? How do you know that they know this information they're telling you? You know what I mean?
I guess it's like typically it's fellow reporters, maybe from a reporter from a different outlet.
I'm telling you, man, they're just freaking reposting the crap from Reddit. Like,
I'm sure that's where it originally comes from.
There's rumors on the internets, and this place called Tumblr's.
I'm reading article after article these days talking about Reddit and 4chan now being havens for far right Nazis, and it's
Reddit and 4chan haven for far right Nazis.
It is just so fucking retarded.
What's funny is Nazis are socialist.
I thought that. Oh yes.
I don't know about most other far right people, but all the far right people I know fucking hate socialists, to include Nazis.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, but at the same time, Nazis go for the Republican Party for, well, I guess they feel like the Republican Party's there for a reason, but probably not a very good one.
Well, I mean, they're going for the Republican Party because the Republican Party has Christian values, and I don't know if you know this, but the Ku Klux Klan is based on, God-fearing and the Bible. Apparently, it talks about getting rid of all the black people out of your neighborhood in the Bible. I didn't read that part, though.
Didn't the KKK hate Nazis?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. Like I said,
They did, but they're peas and carrots now.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying though, because like, what people are calling Nazis now are basically they're taking the part of Hitler's Nazi, which was kill all the Jews and make a perfect quote unquote Aryan race, and that's what they're calling Nazism now. But Nazis it stands for National Socialist Party.
Just like
they were
everything
socialist.
in modern time. It's a really complicated idea, and people have to
Yes, but
turn it
the
into
part
a meat.
that people hated about them was the kill massive amounts of people part.
Exactly.
They didn't really care so much about the other stuff.
But that's what like the neo-Nazis or what they're calling neo-Nazis are kind of gravitating to, is that whole like perfect Aryan race and kill all the Jews, because I don't know why.
Well, I mean, it's the people who marched in Charlottesville did seem to fit the bill of a lot of Nazi stuff. And they also were not the meme-based ones that we've been seeing for years prior.
Yeah, I didn't watch what went down in Charlottesville or whatever, but
I saw clips of a bunch of people shouting, "Jews will not replace us."
Right.
There are people unironically sig healing. At least one person had a shirt on with a Hitler quote on the back.
Do you know, fun fact, the whole Sig Heal salute thing actually used to be how we saluted in the Army and how we pledge allegiance to the flag, and sports teams would do it as like a salutation. It wasn't until after Hitler that that whole Sig Heal thing became a no-no.
And then changed into a salute.
A lot of stuff.
Well, because that's how people, they would, you just put your right hand up, and I believe it started out as signifying, because most people are right-handed, signifying that I'm unarmed, but me being left-handed, I'll just put my right hand up and chop yours off. But you'd signify that you're unarmed, and that's how we saluted the flag. Like, there's pictures of kids in like 1918 in like second grade here in America, all right arms extended towards the flag, saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Or 1930s, I guess, before the World War II.
Huh.
Yeah, it wasn't until Hitler that became a no-no, when we put our hand over our heart and saluted by touching our eyebrow.
Interesting. Did not know that. Oh, also, a few of the protesters were carrying Nazi flags.
Yeah, but that's how it goes. Freaking words and words no longer have meaning in this world.
I did not see a single Pepe though, which surprised me. Not one. Not a single meme.
That's probably because it wasn't the quote-unquote alt-right that was there. It was actual neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
Which are apparently making a big comeback.
Yeah, that's it's concerning.
Yeah, strangely enough, I was driving through some small town, Florida Georgia border someplace, and there was a bunch of guys walking up and down the road in Ku Klux Klan outfits, handing out pamphlets, trying to get people to join.
When was this?
Oh, about a year or two ago, maybe.
God damn!
I didn't know they had resorted to pamphlets.
That is, I'm kind of impressed. How long was it until people socked them in the face?
Nobody. Oh, this is South Georgia, North Florida now. All right, you got to understand the demographic of the area.
It's not. That's not gonna happen. I mean, like for example, the Klan hotbed in Kentucky used to be Dawson Springs, but now there's mostly like 20 assholes who walk around in camo and think that they're self-importance until somebody until they try to pipe up about something, and then of course they take off running for their compound.
Right. No, I don't know how long they were there, but it looked like they'd been there for a while. And when we drove through, nobody was confronting them.
That is disappointing.
In North Georgia, there's been several instances of people going around and putting Klan recruitment flyers in mailboxes, in people's mailboxes.
I would want. I have. Did anyone find out where they are and just paste put in Jewish flags, like plant Jewish flags in their property?
No, I don't know. I know the police were looking for them. It was on the news, but I don't know if this was, like I said, this was 3 years ago as well.
Got it. Well, I guess it is isolated pockets. Yeah, well, I'm not really concerned about any big, takeover of the U.S. Minus the staffers in the Trump administration. There's so few Nazis. There's no big comeback, despite what all the pundits in the news are saying. It honestly feels like it's just partly a real problem, but I feel like the Dems are probably trying to milk this for what it's worth to try to paint the Republican Party as probably a bit too closer to what it actually is. I mean, it's not letting a good tragedy go to waste. It's
exactly.
politics.
Especially if you're a new organization.
Who was that
that
spoke? Someone just said something very faint.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but very faint.
Okay. I'm trying to fix it.
I kind of wonder the actual numbers of these people, though.
There were estimates in Charlottesville of about 1,500, which, I mean, in fact, that's means.
Now, what is that? Both sides?
No, that was estimated 1,500 of just neo-Nazis, but still, that's relatively small.
Is my audio better?
No, it's the same. But I mean, I've compared the 1,500 neo-Nazis. Fuck, there's BronyCon that took place around the same time as the Charlottesville protest, and BronyCon had 4 times as many people.
Like 6,000 people or some crap.
Yeah, like grown men who like My Little Pony outnumber neo-Nazis 4-1.
Yeah.
So I can't take neo-Nazis as a existential threat seriously when there's still things like that.
Let's say I'm not particularly worried.
Hmm?
I'm not particularly worried.
Yeah.
I'm 99.5% white. I'm not worried about the Klan.
Well, I mean, are you white by the Klan's definition? I mean, do you have a bit of Jewish blood in you?
Remember, they got that 1-drop rule.
0.5% Jew. 0.5% Jew.
Yeah. You don't qualify. You.
That's 0.5% too much, boy.
Pretty much.
God. Oh, do you hear that? Changing the topic a little. You hear that? Who's been staying with Tara?
Deviant?
What?
You said who's what?
Been staying with Tara Wheeler.
Deviant Olaf? Olaf?
No, both. Who's been staying with Tara and Deviant?
Oh, who's been staying with them? I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, watching what they're doing?
No, I meant
or living in their home.
And been living in their home. Got a brain fart. I'm embarrassed about saying this, but it was a guy who the UK guy, malware.
Malware Tech Blog.
Yeah, Malware Tech Blog. Yeah, he's apparently been staying with Tara Wheeler and David Olm for a few weeks, but until I think it was either today or yesterday, he said his first night he's been staying in the U.S. Alone after the.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on in that case.
That was weird. Yeah, things. The first night he's staying in the U.S. After the whole DOJ FBI thing, and yeah, he sounded a little bit more worried, at least in his tweets.
Wait, what happened with the DOJ FBI?
Malware Tech Blog was arrested as he was leaving DEF CON.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got disconnected again there for a second.
Ah, same here. Everyone?
No, I don't think so.
Hmm.
Yeah, someone said he admitted to it or something like that.
He admitted to writing it. Or at least writing parts of it. His exact role, as in how much code is unique versus modified from someone else, if he knew what his purpose is going to be used for. A lot of specifics are in the air, and it reads. And looking at Empty Wheel, has been following the court documents and the like. It sounds like the DOJ may be trying to implicate him in a different kind of malware. It's unclear at this point. But Empty Wheel seems to think that the DOJ is trying to find more dirt to push him towards a plea deal.
Yeah, DOJ is always trying to do that crap.
Yeah, it's.
So you never talk to cops.
Well, it must suck for him knowing that the GCHQ knew that he was going into a trap. His own country's intelligence service, he knew he was going to a trap and just didn't care.
Well, I mean, it's.
They cared. They cared. Fuck it. He's going to be on U.S. soil. Not our problem.
Well, that's the thing, though, too, is like, you're just a little peon in your country. Nobody cares about you, you know what I mean? Like, other than your family and immediate friends, your government doesn't give a crap.
Yeah, this would have had to have been okayed by who's the DOJ representative who comes to DEF CON? Leonard Bailey. I mean, if at the very least, this prosecution would have had to have passed by his desk to get DOJ HQ's strong recommendation. I believe he said it was. So for those who don't know, like I believe it was a year or two back, the Department of Justice changed the rules a little bit about how they handle Computer Fraud and Abuse Act cases, where any new prosecutions or like let's say FBI or one of the DOJ's 50 or so branches wants to do a CFAA prosecution against someone. It's supposed to be sent to a specific group within DOJ headquarters to get their recommendation on if it should proceed or not. While technically the recommendation is not, a hard, fast rule, like the branch can just disregard it, it's also one of those things where I'm guessing internal pressure. I'm assuming there's internal pressure there. But Leonard Bailey seems to be fairly confident that his word, he's able to okay or deny prosecutions that come up based on his discretion. And it would mean that he would likely have had to have known about this and okayed this. He's going to have a very awkward DEF CON next year, I imagine.
So, what evidence you've seen, do you know, does the guy look guilty or not guilty, or?
It sounds like he had a bit of a role in it. It sounds like the impression I get is he probably knew what he was doing was probably going to be used for bad purposes. But he didn't infect people with it. And I've seen some compelling arguments along the lines of you wouldn't blame a gun owner for selling a gun. So, in either case, if he really is guilty here, it's one of those things where probably a poor use of the DOJ's discretion. I mean, they do have some discretion. Police do have some discretion. Let's look at Hollywood, for example. A fuck ton of crimes goes on there that the feds look the other way for. Which, it's when they're trying to improve the relationship with the InfoSec communities, it's probably not the wisest course of action they could have taken. But what's done is done, and they better have a rock-solid case. That's all I'm saying. They better have a damn airtight case.
Let's see how it goes. I know very little about the guy.
Malware Tech Blog or Leonard Bailey?
Oh, well, either actually.
Oh. Leonard Bailey's been coming to Black Hat, DEF CON, and B-Sides, Las Vegas, and I'm guessing other conventions as well. I just know those three. For the past several years, trying to be the Department of Justice representative to the hacker community. He was the one, I believe it was Black Hat 2014 or Black Hat 2015, one of the two. He was the one who keynoted it and told the audience that the DOJ would no longer be presumptively prosecuting people who run internet-wide scans. Which I also asked Leonard Bailey this DEF CON, after he did one of his talks, I asked him in person if that rule is still in place, because I wasn't sure it was, given that there's new DOJ leadership. And he told me that, yeah, the rule is still in place, that the DOJ is not going to go after people who do internet-wide scans, that we did give the typical legalese or caveat that scans are okay, DDoS is not.
Okay. Anybody else got anything?
Oh, and for whatever reason, Malware Tech Blog has been forbidden by the court from touching the which malware was it? The WannaCry sinkhole that he made.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. That seemed a little sketchy.
I don't know. It seems odd. Like, are they worried that he is evil incarnate and is just going to vindictively remove the the room to sinkhole?
Yeah, I don't know.
If he's going to do that, I'm not sure the court order is going to do anything to stop it.
Right. Just cancel his credit card. Probably on a month-by-month basis anyways.
Yeah. That's about it.
So, you said the DOJ was prosecuting people that were doing internet-wide scans, like Nmap of the internet?
ZMAP, yes. So what happened before, from what I've heard, is the FBI would pay you to visit in person. I even had a former FBI agent at DEF CON. He overheard me talking about something similar several years ago, and he told me that he explained to me what the FBI had been doing for a while. They visited your house, interviewed you, and to see if you were a threat or not. And obviously that rattled people.
Although I've had the FBI visit me a few times, but no, they were never asking me questions about myself.
Oh, so the FBI visited you for scanning?
No, they visited me for other reasons.
Oh, okay.
But not for scanning.
Yeah. I know one of the things I heard from one of the NatSec folks about a separate venue, about why they were so sketchy about, so worried about scans at first. Apparently there was some incident a while back where some port scan caused some critical piece of infrastructure to fail. I'm guessing it had a custom network stack written for it.
Fix your shit.
Yeah. Well, apparently spooked people when you have part of an electrical grid go out, which I'm guessing someone put a custom network stacked electrical.
Someone put the equivalent of a Raspberry Pi onto their fucking electrical equipment in the 90s or late 80s and fucked up.
And then put it internet facing.
Right.
Yeah. I also read a story about that something similar happening to some very expensive jet, where a scan crashed its internal systems.
How's a jet get internet facing?
I'm not sure if the jet was internet facing, but I'll also say I would not feel safe flying in that thing if it was on the battlefield.
Is it fucking tethered? Cat 5 cable on the back of it.
Yeah, like when a fucking 15-year-old can have enough technology to crash a plane crash internal systems of a plane you're in, that's not a plane you want to be in. I believe that one actually had a story written for it. Could probably dig it up. Spend enough time looking for it. Yeah, that's it.
Interesting. Yeah. I think a lot of these laws are left over from the 80s and 90s that need to be updated for some reason. I'm like, just kind of sit on them forever.
Yeah. There's actually a recording of last year's B-Side Las Vegas talk. It was like 20 years of the CFAA, yada, yada, yada. And Leonard Bailey was there talking with the DOJ's stance and why they are very reluctant to make any changes to it. Bottom line is they're worried of a new type of computer crime they had not yet encountered before. They want to have all their bases covered, which is not a very compelling argument to me. I mean, I understand why they would want that, but that's not the most compelling argument in my view.
Yeah, I think it should more be like, did you have authorization to access the system? Yes or no? No. Did you get any monetary gain or cause intentional damage to the system? Yes or no? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Did you report said bug to the company that owns this system? Yes or no? Like not freaking just so blanketist.
Yeah. At least the bug reporting part has made huge strides in recent years.
Right.
Thanks to Department of Commerce's efforts, that the bug disclosure rules and policies went from something where people were very scared about to something boring, which in policy speak apparently means very, very good, as in it's a settled issue. Right. As far as I can tell, they have made substantial, huge strides in terms of disclosure policies. I mean, trying to get security researchers to come and pen test and disclose bugs they find. So yeah,
but it's still scary when the federal law says you didn't have a right to access it and you access it, you go to prison forever, 30 years. I can carry a fucking pound of marijuana with me, under my arm walking down the street, and I might get 2 years in prison because I'm a first-time offender.
So, and that's the other thing Leonard talked about when he did the keynote at Black Hat several years ago. There are a lot of news stories say 30, 40, 50 years for CFAA, but the sentencing rules that the courts follow will not really permit. Like that's the maximum conceivable sentence that prosecutors usually threaten you with. It's never what you're actually going to get.
7 years, like the kid that got arrested in Norway or whatever. Like that kid's probably facing 7 or more years in prison because of freaking. It's like a global problem. You know what I mean?
Almost never what you're going to get. Yeah. I asked Leonard about let's see. Like, who is the guy who, like, the ex-reporter who got CFAA charge for giving a password to his ex-employer's website, and then someone from Anonymous came and, like, changed a few words on some of the articles to be pranks?
I don't remember that one.
No, it's but yeah, some reporter, he didn't actually do any hacking himself. He gave his login password to his ex-employer. Ex-employer's website. Someone from Anonymous came and this is years ago, back when Anonymous was still a thing. came and defaced a few articles there, like minor edits, changing a few names to be jokes. It was up for less than an hour before someone who worked for the company, like the news website, noticed it and fixed it. And they spent the next few years going after their former employee, and the charge went after him for Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, and the DOJ. Well, they were okay with that. Even though the reporter didn't actually do any hacking himself.
Technically, that's on the company for not removing that guy's access when he left.
Not to mention, the thing is, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, as it's currently written, says it's not supposed to go forward if the damages are less than $5,000. I think it's a static amount that was set in the law was originally written. I don't know, but it's currently $5,000. They somehow said that those several minor edits. I'm not saying minor because of ideological reasons. I mean, these edits were really pretty tiny, and I imagine relatively few people even saw them. They said that it must have been $1 million of damages, as in literally the court documents say he caused $1 million of damages. And they apparently, for the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, a company is allowed to include the amount of money spent on an auditor and to inspect your systems in the $5,000 account. So essentially, all infractions that a company wants to go after is over $5,000 at the discretion of the company.
Right.
And I asked Leonard about that. I gave my perspective that this is ridiculous. That this is the equivalent of tagging a wall, but even less damaging, considering you can clean it up a lot quicker.
Right. Nobody even has to go out there and actually sweat.
And I think Leonard's response was something to the effect of the chat logs where he pretty much the ex-reporter told the anonymous guy, just go fuck up the site. That's apparently what made him so unsympathetic to the DOJ, that at least Leonard was he thought it appropriate that he got a CFAA charge. Though I think he got like 2 years, as in time served while he was being prosecuted. I think that's utterly insane. Like, having known Anonymous back in the day, like rhetorical extremes are pretty fucking normal. It's like the assumption everyone had was no one really wanted to cause harm except to Scientology. It's just you're just fucking around. So that's right. Obviously what the outcome was when someone changed like a name to Shibby Leet, and like some 2-page article changed the name there, and like I guess there were like 1 or 2 letter changes in some other article's title. But apparently the words taken out of context, or taken out of their broader context, were enough to make it a CFAA thing.
Nice.
Which like I said, I disagree with the DOJ's view there, but they are the ones with the power here, not me. And I know there's a lot of other things related to CFAA. There are no current active efforts to write a reform for it. According to congressional staffer that was over at B-Sides Las Vegas, and according to Leonard Bailey, whom I also asked, there are no current efforts to look for a reform, which sucks. It is not clear to me if that will ever be the end goal for the DOJ. At the bare minimum, though, the DOJ is looking for, from my understanding, they're looking for practices that they think are okay to try to carve out and make public statements to the effect of, we consider this okay, and give their backing to other federal agencies to make policies like whitelisting this, so people will know that this specific practice will not get you a CFAA charge.
Yeah.
Which it's better than nothing, but the main problem is the DOJ is leaving the discretionary portion to the DOJ. That's it's going to have to trust.
I keep thinking that, as time goes on and we get younger people become congressmen and women and get positions of quote unquote power, I'm like, they've got to be smarter because they've been using technology their whole life. And then I, actually sit back and think, and it goes back to what Charles was saying earlier about they don't understand how it works. They just use the tool. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. And not to mention that, our sentencing system is pretty extreme compared to most nations in the world, and a lot of people in government seem to think that's okay right now. Not sure why a new generation. I don't see any reason why a new generation would think differently on the whole. Which,
yeah, unfortunately,
I hope I'm wrong.
In my experience as a millennial, most of the people growing up, if they're not, in school for tech or have it as a hobby, it actually makes them stupider. The fact that they have all this information at their fingertips, they don't have to work for it. They don't have to understand how they get it.
Yeah.
To be fair, a lot of the tech and a lot of the companies do make efforts to obscure that. I mean, should you really be expected to know how the information comes about for everything you interact with?
I don't know, man. As a kid, I always wondered, well, how does this? How do I get this? How does this stupid freaking green card with a bunch of squiggly lines and black dots all over it fucking make a picture on this monitor that I have no clue what's inside of? You know what I mean?
Right. So, I mean, for you, and that's why you're now an InfoSec. That's why you're a hacker. But, that's not really the majority of people out there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I guess most people don't really care about, well, how does my phone actually make this screen work? Or, how do the headphones work? How does anything work, Like, nobody cares.
Or maybe they're just so intimidating or imposing, they just give up before they start.
I have friends that are will spend 8 hours playing a video game like League of Legends and won't really consider how the pinging works, how the latency is affecting them. There's so many interesting facets that you could explore.
What's the latest thing in the? I can't stand it. It freaking irritates the hell out of me. The new blame game is it's the net code. The net code sucks.
The net code?
Stop calling it fucking net code.
I've heard that word.
That's what all the video game kids call the networking portion of the program.
I'll take your word for it.
The net code's terrible. They need to fix their net code. I'm like, they did probably implement networking poorly. But stop calling it net code.
Specifically, what about the quote unquote net code is?
Oh, they don't know. They just, they're laggy. So
as they
the
were
net
connecting
code
to the
sucks.
cloud on Internet 2.0 or 3.0, I guess in this case, I'm sure that they will use their optimized connection that allows 56K unlimited 56K video streaming from Verizon. I'm sure they will. Yeah, because unlimited keeps being redefined these days, of course.
Right.
It's marketers make it their business. Companies make it their business to obscure it. They want to obscure it. They don't want people to look closer.
Freaking T-Mobile doesn't.
Yeah, but
there you
apparently
go. Unlimited.
Sprint may be merging with T-Mobile.
You get this speed until the network gets congested, and then the top 10% get throttled down to this speed. It says it right there.
They changed that. By default.
Did they change it again?
No, it's by default. I believe it says unlimited video streaming, but the default is they throttle it down to a lower resolution. You have to manually log into your account to undo the throttling for your phone.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever. But
I'd say that's fair. Then people that care enough actually do it.
right, yeah, then people that care enough will just log in and freaking fix their shit.
They originally tried to make it so that you have to do it every month, but there was enough of an outcry that they decided no, they'll just have it once and it's done. But it may not matter if Sprint merges with T-Mobile though, because sure as hell Sprint's not going to do
merge
jack
with
shit
NASCAR.
for
Sprint.
anything competitive.
Now, if anybody merges, it's going to be T-Mobile buying Sprint.
You think so?
Oh yeah, T-Mobile will buy Sprint. Sprint will not buy T-Mobile.
Well, that's what TechDirt's reporting.
T-Mobile
that
bought
a
the
lot
entire 600 megahertz band earlier this year. The entire thing, like all of it, millions of dollars. T-Mobile is not going to freaking be like, okay, what was that? Well, I say millions. It's probably closer to billions.
Okay, that's something.
It was a lot of money. And T-Mobile's up like what first quarter or second quarter this year, 1.5 million new subscribers or something like that or more. It was ridiculous. It was a huge number. Like a lot of people switched to T-Mobile.
Isn't like their margin like they get that by partly like cutting their profit margins per person?
No, actually they're not really cutting the profit margins at all. If you look at the way T-Mobile is now and the way that it works out, you're essentially paying the same. It's actually a little bit cheaper than Verizon or Sprint. Not much, but a little bit. Because what you're doing is you're paying $45 or $35 a month for the service, and that's just the service. Then you have to buy a phone, and depending on what they do is they'll do basically 0% interest financing for your phone and tack that onto your bill. So now you're up to $75 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah. Before they did that, it used to be the same way.
But it still winds up being cheaper than Verizon, especially if you got a family or something like that, and you don't buy everybody a damn brand new iPhone.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, also speaking of Verizon, slightly different topic, but speaking of Verizon, apparently they are submitting I think it's called amicus or amicus curiae. I don't know how you pronounce it. The legal thing, which is like opinion to the court, in support of
getting rid of net neutrality,
of privacy. Actually, no. They have been writing them in support of trying to undo some state law monopolies that for telecoms, which is unsurprising. Specifically, they were arguing in support of one-touch regulation, which is supposed to. So currently, one of the barriers that competitors such as Google had faced when trying to expand Google Fiber into states was where to place their fiber. The most economic way to do that, which the law currently allowed, was to use the telephone poles, I believe it was, to also place their fiber on top of. Thing is, incumbent ISPs were saying that if Google places it, it will irreparably damage our network. Touching our fiber optics will destroy our ability for users to browse the internet. The economy will collapse.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada.
Yeah, no. You'll go under because you suck, and Google Fiber will take all your customers.
So. Yeah, and so what they had, and so what they've been pushing for was once every 6 months, Google had to schedule an appointment with each ISP for each poll for like a time 6 months later on. That ISP would send someone out, maybe if they don't miss their appointment, to move that one ISP's fiber, and they had to do it for each ISP in each poll. It was a bureaucratic nightmare to try to stop Google from building out infrastructure. So the one-touch solution to that was have a single contractor that's been vetted by all the ISPs, that would personally just go to each pole, and personally move the fibers, sometimes even by literally 1 inch, and then put Google's fiber down there or any other competitor's fiber.
Why not just lay it on top of the other shit that's up there?
I don't know.
Like, why do we have to move it?
I don't know how tightly they're bundled. I'm presumably they have to secure it if it's going to be out there withstanding the weather.
Well, you want to let it droop in between poles. That way, if one breaks, it doesn't rip it all down. But you know,
I'm not entirely familiar with how they
but still, like
built out.
one piece of fiber laying on top of another piece of fiber is not going to leak any information.
No, that's not what they were saying for leaking. It didn't mention anything about leaking. It was, if the infrastructure is touched, it will disintegrate, collapse. Everything horrible will happen.
No.
That's the kind of argument they were making.
Unless your freaking fiber's been out there exposed for 30 years and it's plastic.
Yeah, they were full of shit, essentially. So Verizon, to everyone's surprise, has recently started writing articles and op-eds and amicus curiae to the courts in support of one-touch regulation to allow competitors to build out. The current theory as to why they are doing this.
Here's the thing: they're not going to vet any of the. They're going to put forward a what do you call it? A contractor, and they're not going to vet anybody else's unless everybody else backs their contractor. It'll never happen because, and of course their contractor is probably going to be paid off to, have some accidents every now and then on somebody else's fiber.
Well, it would be insured, and it would be insured essentially. I recall that.
Verizon's got an angle here that fucks everybody else. I guarantee it.
Well, based on my understanding, is that most likely Google made a deal with Verizon, and that Google will not. It sounds like Google will not be building out Google Fiber to East Coast areas where Verizon has their FiOS implementation. I'm guessing the deal was Google does not compete with Verizon.
Make it to freaking East Coast?
Oh yeah, there's FiOS plenty of places in the East Coast.
Yeah.
They stopped building out the new places though.
Yeah, right. Because it's too expensive and hard. But Verizon got billions in tax breaks to put fiber all the way across the United States, and see how far they got.
And in some states where they got the subsidies, they used the very same subsidies to lobby against not building out the infrastructure and keeping the money.
Fucked up.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I don't know if it succeeded in those, but they certainly tried. I probably did succeed in some cases.
So I think lobbying should be illegal.
Yeah. So, and like I said, Verizon also supporting privacy regulations to limit how much information. I believe specifically in the case of cell phone tower dumps, they wrote an amicus curiae saying that this is private information that police should go get a warrant, and it should not be considered public information for the police to just get wholesale based on a third-party doctrine. I believe it's to the current Supreme Court case that is about cell phone tower dumps.
Yeah, it's probably because they want to sell access to police jurisdictions or something like that. I'm sure.
No, I think that's AT&T.
They're gonna make money on it somehow. I guarantee it. I don't think Verizon's freaking come out of their evilness just yet.
Yeah, you're probably right, but don't know where they stand to gain money here. Maybe from goodwill, because they'll get plenty of good positive reporting for this.
Yeah, I mean it could be that, but I know like the CEO and the CTO of AT&T at one point said, when they were arguing against net neutrality, they were saying that all the network traffic is eating up, or they can't handle it, is too big for their infrastructure. And it's like, well, maybe you should take this fucking $90 a month I'm paying you for internet and buy a new damn switch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you'd think.
Get rid of that fucking Cisco 2800 that's been sitting in there for the last 10 years and buy something new.
Yeah, I think I've seen some numbers for how much the cost of actually running an ISP has. The cost of transporting data has dramatically decreased. It's like less than a penny a gigabyte easily.
Well, I'm not going to lie. Cisco and even Juniper switches, Cisco equipment is stupidly expensive and support's stupidly expensive, and Juniper equipment sucks and is expensive.
Sure.
But it's more expensive for Cisco. But, and you start getting into like ISP level stuff, I can't imagine how much that shit costs.
Yeah, but they get pretty
But
hefty
still,
margins.
you've got a lot of people paying you a monthly fee to, to pay monthly on switches that go back every 3 years.
Do you guys think that privatized internet, like ISPs, are optimal? Do you think it should be like public service, like electricity?
I thought about
I
that.
guess that's privatized too, but.
So across the river. Okay. Across the river, they've got basically a monopoly where the government backed one ISP, and they're garbage. They have no incentive to upgrade or keep up or do anything better because there's no competition.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Quality would decrease, price would probably decrease as well, but then, yeah.
But here on my side of the river, I've got 4, 5, 6 ISPs, and
you're an exception there.
Well, yeah, I think 4 total.
You have more than 2. You're a very rare exception.
Yeah, we have Wownology, AT&T. Hey, don't tear it up.
Let's see here.
What?
Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff in flux right now. I don't know. I don't know what's actually at stake aside from literal cell phone tower dumps in the Supreme Court case. Is the third-party doctrine up at stake for changing? I sincerely doubt it, but this seems to fall into that kind of area. Yeah, well, as far as public ISPs, publicly owned, yeah, I don't think it would be. I think it would be very inconsistently maintained. There might be some areas that are good, but on the whole, the government is not really known for across-the-board competence. There may be pockets of really good, motivated people, but not across the board. So yeah, I agree. It would not be a good idea to have publicly owned utilities. So, I mean publicly owned ISPs.
You want to listen? Okay, can I listen now?
What was that?
What? I was gonna say the amount of people that don't understand. You put people in charge of it and they don't understand it. It's not like the government's gonna appoint somebody that understands it, like a guy that's been a network engineer that has this freaking CCIE or whatever, they're not going to appoint somebody like that to be in charge of the, oh, hey, you're the regional director of all these ISPs or whatever, No, they're going to have some freaking, I got an MBA guy, I know finance.
Yeah, family friend or something.
Oh, yeah, a family friend.
I guess it's a difficult issue to tackle.
It's like being the corner. Those guys don't even freaking have any medical training. It's just some dude or some lady. Wait a minute, you're doing
like
autopsies?
An old-timey doctor. Think of like an old-timey doctor. They'll just come in there drunk, say your blood is haunted,
right?
And just perform an exorcism on you.
We're gonna do some bloodletting.
The shaman, just rub an egg on your forehead. It'll absorb everything.
I never thought about it until I got older. I'm like, the coroner, like it's an elected position, and I'm like, what are the qualifications to be the coroner? Pay $2,500 and get on the ballot and get people to vote for you. So this guy has the coroner, yes, the guy that's supposed to do like autopsies and stuff, like you're dead.
Okay,
you're dead. I'm gonna take your body to the hospital and stick you in a freezer. That guy.
Got it.
Not like a medical examiner, but just what does the coroner even do?
The person that comes and picks up dead people. Like he's like, okay, this is that guy. Like, and he's apparently the only person that can declare somebody dead.
No way.
So,
And there's
well, no, other than like in a
qualification.
hospital. Other than like in a hospital, like if you know a paramedic shows up and goes, "Yep, this guy's dead," call the coroner.
To
The time of
verify
death on the
it?
certificate. Yeah, the time of death is not until the coroner walks up and goes, "Yep, he's dead."
It's pretty cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. I'm like, this guy doesn't know anything. Yeah, you telling him something?
Well, he feels pretty cold. In my
Yeah, right,
experience,
exactly.
that means he's dead.
I just thought it was funny. You know, these guys have absolutely no medical training, and it's like, so wait, the coroner's doing an autopsy, and then it's always they send them off to like some, you know, college someplace for somebody else to do an autopsy because they don't have a damn clue.
Do you guys post links to the Google Hangout exclusively, like on YouTube when you first started?
A lot of times I put it in the YouTube feed. Yeah, sometimes I tweet it out.
Okay.
I usually also tweet it out to. I also use message to people who are in the last chat. We have the link.
Okay, cool. I added you on. I just created a Twitter account and then added you.
It's what? It's Bluefoot. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. That's beautiful. It turns him. So, no series. We don't stop it. Mommy,
For some reason, this is captivating, even though I have no idea what she's saying.
I don't have a clue either.
It's probably because I'm drunk. I'm like, wow, babies are amazing.
She does say a bunch of crazy stuff though. She's pretty smart.
There's number up there.
Yeah, and you want to count to 10?
I give me from 5 more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What? 2.
That's a baby Noah.
That's a baby Nora. She likes to talk. That's for sure. Kids are all good, man.
Your kid sounds adorable.
Yeah, she does a lot of really cute stuff. Every time she sees numbers, I guess, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is easier to say than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She goes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Starts at 6.
Hey, well, at least she knows where the middle's at.
That's true.
But she can count. I mean, what? She was like a year and 9 months or so, and she was counting to 10. We were sitting at the dinner table, and I was working on an Arduino project, just messing around. And I was counting pins. I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I stopped at 5. I didn't say 5, but I stopped on the 5th pin, and she's like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I was like, "What the crap? Where did you learn that?" Just out of random. It's gonna be a tough one to keep in line, I'm sure.
I don't have kids, but I love that my friends do. I get all the good parts, and I can just walk away when shit hits the fan.
Right. Literally. Oh.
I guess it depends on a couple different factors whether or not to roll.
She's ready to go to bed.
I go to bed.
Have you guys seen those fake programming book covers?
Fake programming book covers.
Yeah, you know how like coding books always have pictures of dinosaurs and like samurais and random shit?
Yeah.
Somebody made like this grad student, when he's bored, just makes fake covers, and they're freaking hilarious. I'll try and find them and post them in the chat.
Was it O'Reilly, right? The O'Reilly books?
Yeah, he calls them "Oh really."
Oh, really? Actually, I don't think I have any O'Reilly books.
I've never understood the idea behind all those weird. They're just totally random pictures.
Yeah, so apparently, from what I understand, is a specific species can only appear on the cover of one book. So you have to pick a book, or you have to pick an animal, and it can be a porcupine, but it can't be the same species of porcupine that has already been on another book.
Okay.
So yeah, that's all like scientific name level, Family, genus, phylum.
Dude, I tried to remember that the other day. It's a lot.
Yeah, right.
Family, genus, phylum, species, there's kingdom in
Kingdom,
there
yeah,
somewhere.
kingdom's top, right?
But then there's like 2 at the bottom that I didn't even know existed.
Yep. Well, it's because it's made up as they go. They just add crap to it. Apparently, animals get shuffled around all the time too. Like they wind up in different genuses and stuff. I guess here recently, dogs and canines were in different, I guess, families, or I guess they're families or genus. I don't know. And I guess after doing some more DNA research, they've decided that dogs, on a genetic level, have so much in common with wolves that they've put them back into the same group of animals. So they're no longer separated anymore. But yeah, it gets moved around all the time. Kind of hard to keep up with.
Dude, I feel old just because I can't stand social media. Like this whole Twitter thing, I just hate it already. I guess it's because I can't customize. They like show me shit that I really don't care about and don't want to see, and I just have to ignore it. Like advertising.
Right. Adblock.
Yeah, I know, but Adblock doesn't work for their suggestions of who I should follow and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, the suggested who you should follow stuff is it's just a
crap.
It's a feature.
Okay, I don't have access to this Hangout link anymore, so I just tweeted at Irongeek the link to those O'Reilly books.
Okay.
There's one that's really funny. Expert hoping nobody hacks you. Security by optimism and prayer.
Expert hoping nobody hacks you. That's a gummy. Yeah, I know plenty of people like that. It seems like especially small to medium companies don't really want to spend the time or effort or money doing security stuff. You know what I mean?
They've got that whole like we're too small, security by obscurity type of mentality. Nobody will mess with us.
Nobody mess with us until they mess with us, and then it's too late.
Yeah, then we'll bitch.
Right. You know, most companies are so small that one data breach, especially if they're, like an IT company or something like that, and they're done for.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But I guess it's kind of difficult because, I mean, the big companies have an enormous risk, but also the budget to help mitigate that risk. And then a small company, I mean, they have just as large of a risk in terms of how badly it will affect them, but they might not have the budget.
No budget to mitigate it, really.
Yeah.
Of course, I think the big companies usually do wind up big. the targets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm not a black hat, but I imagine that if I was the type of person who was attempting to make a living hacking illegally, it wouldn't be worth it. I mean, it takes so much time just reconnaissance and all that stuff to actually
Yeah, like
break somebody.
get a couple $100 in Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just fuck over the restaurant that down the street or something.
Right.
I am fascinated by the hacking groups that do it. I've only heard like one or two stories, but it's extremely fascinating.
Otherwise, they get together and like build malware and try and get money for it.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
I forget where I
extort
read
money.
the story. I think it was some on like the NetSec Reddit page, but it was a Blue Ocean is the name of this group or something like that that attacked Sony and was persistent in their systems for like a year before they were detected, and they had like all these like like tools that people were using, like what's that one that's a cat?
Oh, the
Netcat
cat.
or something? No, there's a tool with the word cat in it, and I can't remember.
There's Netcat.
Is it Netcat? Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They had like customized all these tools so they weren't detectable by their signatures anymore, and like these people had put in a lot of work in order to hack into Sony. It was just, I'm just curious, like, who in the world are these people? I can only imagine that they're white hats, you know, also people that are employed doing this full time. Otherwise, how would
Right.
you have the knowledge?
Well, I mean, a lot of it's just the gaining the knowledge is I mean the hard and the easy part at the same time. You know what I mean? Because all the knowledge is out there. You know, it's free. It's
Open source, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's free, and you just have to understand it enough. You know, the hard part is really understanding it and then putting it to use.
I guess the thing is you have to be smart and then also not get caught for a long enough period to become like really good.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I got to drop off and go put the kids to bed.
Guys.
Yeah, it's getting kind of late.
Well, folks,